Chapter 062. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I don't want to die. When Naruto turned his gaze to Sajui, the latter took 2 steps back with a nervous expression. Since he was kicked by Naruto just now, he has been shrinking in the corner without making a move. It can be said that he spared his life, or it can be said that he knew the practice. As Sajui said at the beginning, he just did what he was told. His own will did not want to do these things. And there was no need for the 2 sides to be hostile. Now Sajui gambled that Naruto had killed the others, and the anger in his heart had almost been vented, plus everyone else resisted. Only he didn't resist. Maybe he had a chance to survive. I know you're not a coward. The corners of Naruto's mouth were slightly raised, and he walked slowly toward Sajui. Sajui was silent for a moment and spoke. Such a fight is meaningless, and such sacrifices are worthless. Even if I release you, you won't be able to go back, and you will be hunted down as a traitor, so what can you do? Naruto looked down on him like a cat playing with a mouse, with a high posture. At this moment, Naruto is the god who controls his life and death. No matter what, there is at least 23 hope of living. Sajui's eyes were firm. Moreover, if you need it, I can also help you do things, as long as you provide me with shelter. I'm sorry, I don't need that. Naruto said with an indifferent expression. Since there is nothing to say, then so be it. The blade of the wind appeared in his hand, instantly giving Sajui a thorough coolness. The reason why I say so much to the other party is purely to see jokes. Naruto has quite an opinion about Sai, not to mention the disgusting character when the original book first appeared, and it is even more disgusting after whitewashing. Anyway, he can't understand why Hara and Sakura can accept Sajui in the original book. What was most unacceptable to Naruto was that this guy directly hugged and kissed. After soaking in Ino and stuck out his tongue. In the entire anime, the only one who is so flirtatious with girls, now in front of Ino, of course, he can't be spared easily. When Sajui slowly took his last breath with despair and unwillingness, Naruto used the ability of the wind to clean up the scene. Naruto. Are you really the Naruto I know? After a period of calmness, Ino had already come to his senses, looking at Naruto who came over, slightly nervous. The murderous Naruto just now was completely different from what she remembered. Ino wasn't afraid, he just couldn't accept it for a while. Sorry, I'm hiding a lot of things. Naruto shrugged and said, today is a disaster for you, and the cause is also mine. How you want to see me is up to you. Now that things are settled, I should go back. Rest assured, they won't find you again. With that, Naruto turned and left, without the slightest drag. Wait a minute. Ino was in a hurry, and immediately caught up, hugged Naruto from behind, and whimpered, I'm sorry, I didn't suspect you. No matter who you really are, I will always like you. At the moment when Naruto turned around, I don't know why, she suddenly had a feeling that once she really let Naruto leave, the two would never intersect again. At that moment, Ino was afraid and could only hold Naruto to death. What she didn't know was that it was just Naruto's routine. If Naruto really wanted to leave, a flying thunder god would be gone. The reason why Ino had such an illusion was that Naruto deliberately let her misunderstand, brewing such an atmosphere, and then turning around with a determined face, as if he wanted to cut it in two. Alas. Naruto let out a long sigh, reflexively hugged Ino, and said faintly, you also know that I have been hated and rejected by the people in the village since I was a child, but the specific reason, I think you don't know. To tell you the truth, I have the 9 tails sealed in my body that killed Shidemu and killed many people in Konoha. Those adults knew about it, and what they really rejected was not me, but fear of the monster in my body. Read violent novels, go on Faloo Fiction Network. How so? Ino's eyes widened in disbelief. So, do you still want to like me? Aren't you afraid? Naruto looked calmly at Ino. Ino was just stunned for a moment, and soon said resolutely, don't be afraid, Naruto is Naruto, the 9 tails are the 9 tails, what I like is Naruto, it has nothing to do with the 9 tails or something. And in comparison, Naruto, who has that kind of monster sealed in his body, is the most painful one, right? Ino also figured out a lot of things at this time, about the attitude of the villagers towards Naruto, about the power Naruto possessed, and the abnormalities that appeared in her body before. Thinking of this, she suddenly reacted. In fact, you have exerted a certain ability on me, and through this ability, you have been secretly protecting me. It is also because of this ability that you can come and save me in such a timely manner, right? Of course, Naruto would not deny it, nodding, because I borrowed the power of the 9 tails, I didn't tell you, and that ability will only be touched in times of crisis, and I don't expect you to activate it sometime. Ino had already been moved to a mess at this time. Where would he care about what the 9 tails were? Not the 9 tails. Thank you 203, Naruto, you did this for me, I actually treated you like that just now, it's really undeserved. Ino had completely fallen, and no matter what Naruto asked her to do at this moment, she would not hesitate. It's okay, I don't care. Naruto smiled slightly, however, Ino cares. Not knowing what to do for Naruto, she could only stand on tiptoe and send her own fragrant lips. Of course, Naruto will not be polite, this is the first time, really feel it. Before this, he had never had a chance to be alone with Ino. Every time he was with Sakura, he became a tool for Ino and Sakura to fight for. In a few words, Sakura sighed, in private, we'll secretly meet and engage in some conquest drama, and Ino will have no chance at all. Now that the opportunity is rare, Naruto is also more excited, and soon began to climb over the mountain. Ino didn't have the scale of Shippuden, but it was much larger than Sakura's tablet. It's not right, Sakura has grown a lot after Naruto's development during this time. Of course, it is not yet comparable to Ino. For Naruto's behavior, Ino did not refuse, and even wanted to integrate himself into Naruto's body. At this time, no matter what Naruto wants to do, she is willing. Chapter 063. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the end, Naruto certainly didn't have the opportunity to study the subject of guns like dragons with Ino. After all, not far from them, there were 3 other people from the 10th class. Speaking of asthma, he was really weak enough, and he couldn't even protect his own students, so he lay down first. Even if Tuanzong personally took action, there was no intention to calculate. Asthma was an elite forbearance, worth 35 million, and he couldn't even struggle a little. When we get back to the village, we will have time to strengthen our relationship. Naruto let go of Ino and whispered in her ear. Ino immediately blushed, he was too involved just now, and now he was embarrassed to stop and panic. Of course, she understood what Naruto meant by enhancing her feelings, but she was ashamed and did not resist in her heart. Ino replied shyly, and then hesitated, what about Sakura? If the 2 of us were together, she would be very sad. Good villains have grown up together since childhood, no matter how they don't deal with it on the surface. In fact, the relationship has not changed at all, and quarrels are their way of getting along. No, she won't be sad. Naruto smiled, I think she'll be happy. Ino couldn't help but be surprised. Sakura would be happy? Could it be that Sakura and Naruto were at odds? Not what you think. Naruto rubbed Ino's head and said, you'll know when the time comes. Okay, I'm almost time leaving, I'll knock you out before I leave, and then you'll just say you don't know anything. For Naruto's proposal, Ino did not object, because she did not know how to explain it like asthma, so she simply pretended not to know. Naruto carefully inspected the scene, cleaned up all the traces brought by the root tissue, and then put asthma and the others back in place, and finally knocked Ino unconscious with a light palm. However, Naruto did not leave immediately, but hid and guarded until asthma woke up from his slumber, woke up the others, and made sure that there was no problem, and then performed the Flying Thunder God technique to return to the land of snow. Naruto, where have you been? I've been waiting for you for a long time. In Naruto's room, Kaziba Shouyuki looked restless, and it was only when he saw Naruto that he was relieved. She walked over and gently snuggled into Naruto's arms. I thought you left me behind and went back. How come? It's just a temporary trip. Don't worry about these or not, your attraction to me, don't you know it yourself? Naruto smiled and picked up Kazuhana Koyuki and walked straight inside. Just now, I was aroused by Jinya, and it just so happened that the wind and snow came to help. Meh, not now. Fonghua Xiaoxua quickly pushed Naruto away and twisted. I'm sorry Naruto, I have to accompany the 3rd wife to meet those ministers. When I turn back, it may be too late. She just took the time to mess with Naruto. She really didn't want to do that kind of thing. After all, Naruto had to toss for an hour or 2 every time, and he really didn't have time. When I'm busy during this time, I can be idle after the inauguration ceremony, and I'll accompany you whatever you want at that time, okay? Seeing that Naruto was a little unhappy, Kazewa Shoyuki quickly said in a coaxing tone, "What a sin." Naruto let out a long sigh. "Think about it, maybe it's time to go to the country of waves." Fanghua Xiaoxua smiled and said, "I know that you always think about this kind of thing, so I thought of a way for you earlier." "Blow snow." Fanghua Xiaoxua shouted at the door. The door was pushed open, and Crane Wing Chueshua walked in slowly from outside with his head bowed. Seeing Naruto's surprised gaze, Kazewa Xiaoxua poked his chest with his finger, and said with disgust, "It's cheap for you. During this time when I'm busy, let Fuyuki accompany you. I know you must have an idea in the morning." Kazuhana Shoyuki knew Naruto's strength, and it would definitely not be enough to fight on her alone. Using the nine-tailed chakra is reluctant, but when doing that kind of thing, wearing a layer of tailed beast coat will be more awkward after all, so that ability can only be used as an occasional concoction. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Moreover, Naruto's personality is not destined to guard her alone, and Kazewa Shoyuki can't make Naruto think that she is petty and jealous, so he took the initiative to arrange it. I only hope that in this way, her weight in Naruto's heart will be heavier. This kind of good thing, Naruto naturally will not refuse. He held Fanghua Xiaoxua and spoiled it fiercely, and finally let go under the urging of Fanghua Xiaoxua. P.S. With His Royal Highness. Until the wind and snow left the room, Tsurui Chueshua still stood there with his head bowed, feeling apprehensive. To serve Naruto, she would definitely be willing, but girls will definitely be nervous when faced with this situation. Fortunately, Naruto was already a veteran, and in just a few words, Tsuruyoshi Bayuki relaxed, and took the initiative to serve Naruto. Tsurui Chuyuki is a ninja after all, and his physical fitness is definitely much stronger than that of Windflower Xiaoxua, and an hour or two of physical exertion is nothing. It's a pity that she faced Naruto, and after letting go, she couldn't bear it for an hour or two, and in the end, Tsuruyoshi blew the snow and passed out with a happy afterglow on her face. This woman doesn't look very good, but her figure is really good, and she has developed many moves with Naruto. With Tsuruyoshi blowing snow by his company, Naruto would not be so bored when the wind and snow could not be pulled away. Of course, he is not a person who only thinks with his lower body, and occasionally he still brings crane wings to blow snow and wander around the capital city of the snow country. Of course, Naruto didn't forget about the land of waves and Konoha, but there was nothing major for the time being, and he could stay in the land of snow for a few more days. On Konoha's side, the 7th squad has already performed several D-level missions. Sasuke and Sakura had just finished climbing trees and treading water under Kakashi's training. Chakra's control ability has improved a lot, and his strength has naturally improved a lot, when they adapt to their current state in a few days. They will have to pick a C-level task to do. The Zonnin exam is imminent, and the team that wants to register for reference, in addition to gathering 3 lower ninja, the most basic condition is to have completed more than 8 D-level tasks and at least 1 C-level task. However, now that the graves of Dasna and the land of waves are all grassy, they will definitely not go to Konoha to issue tasks, and the 7th class will have one less opportunity to experience. Naruto didn't care about this anyway. For him, that level has long been not experienced. At least it takes the level of the Great Snake Pill to cause him some trouble. Of course, Naruto didn't forget the underground rat either. He decided that when Konoha collapsed the plan, he would completely solve Danzo, just in time to blame Orochimaru. Chapter 064. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Believe in the future. In that case, spring will surely come. What does Koyuki want to do after spring arrives? Xiaoxua wants to become Her Royal Highness. What kind of Princess Highness? Well, be a gentle, strong, and righteous princess. Ha, that's hard. However, if you take your dream as a faith and pursue it without giving up, your dream will definitely come true. Can you see this? A beautiful princess stands here. But Xiaoxua is still struggling with one thing, because there is still a dream. What is it? Another dream. Actress. Ha. Above the rainbow ice wall, there is a picture of the conversation between Fanghua Xiaoxua and her father, Fanghua Zhaoxue when she was a child. after dealing with the succession ceremony of the snow country, Kazahana Koyuki pulled Naruto and brought Tsuruyoshi blowing snow together here, and used the hexagonal crystal to open the snow country's secret treasure. There is no wind and anger to imagine the kind of wealth that is on par with the 5 major countries, only a geothermal generator, which is still a semi-finished product. However, for Fenghua Xiaoxue, these are not important, but the picture on the rainbow ice wall reminds her of the 020 herself, so I said this before. Fenghua Xiaoxue laughed and cried, the naive years were so good, but unfortunately they never returned. The opportunity to remember is actually a kind of happiness, and many people can't even think about it, let alone have the opportunity to recall. When I was a child, Xiaoxue looked so cute like a porcelain doll. Naruto gently hugged Kaziba Koyuki. Fenghua Xiaoxue, who was originally in tears, suddenly startled, and immediately widened his eyes, and fiercely pinched Naruto's waist. Weakness, shouldn't you? Children are all mindful. If that were the case, it would be absolutely intolerable. Naruto grinned, what do you think? Even if I have that mind, the hardware conditions don't allow it. Well, you really have this mind. Fenghua Xiaoxue's face was full of anger, and the strength in her hands was even greater. Oops, misunderstood. Naruto said with a smile, I was just thinking that if only you could help me give birth to such a lovely daughter. Fenghua Xiaoxue's face was slightly red, and her face was replaced with happiness with a hint of shame. At first, Tsuruyoshi was afraid that the two would quarrel, but they were just flirting. Well, after eating a mouthful of dog food, there is something in my heart that is not a taste. If it were her, she would definitely be able to give birth to a cuter daughter. However, I would prefer a son, so that I can cultivate him into an excellent snow country master. Kazahana Koyuki snuggled into Naruto's arms. No matter how strong a woman is, she is destined to be weaker than men, and Fenghua Xiaoxue does not want her descendants to rely on men to rise to power like herself. Naruto smiled and said, it's easy to solve, just have another one. Or give birth to a few more, I don't have a problem. Fenghua Xiaoxue replied lightly and smiled shyly, seeing Tsuruyoshi Bayuki, who was obviously sour with jealousy next to him. Naruto couldn't help but smile and hugged her as well. Of course I won't refuse if you want, you know, I'm quite passionate about this kind of thing. Shameless. Fenghua Xiaoxue scolded with a smile, but shameless is shameless, but also a reliable man. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. If it's Naruto-sama, I'm willing to do anything. The crane wing blows the snow. During the road of AI, beside Fenghua Xiaoxue, she still couldn't let go. Naruto quietly sensed it with Kagura's hard eyes, and found that there were no traces of people in 100 miles, and suddenly laughed badly. You see, because of the geothermal device, this place has become so beautiful and the climate is pleasant. Fenghua Xiaoxue sighed slightly, it's a pity that it's only temporary, the geothermal device is only a semi-finished product, but I will let people continue to study deeply, and one day it will turn the country of snow into the country of spring. I mean, Naruto said with a sneer, in this beautiful environment, just like that spring dinner is worth $1,000, we might as well try to cultivate the next generation. No. Wind and snow were taken aback. This is the open air, and with Tsuruyoshi blowing snow around, Naruto, this hateful guy should not be thinking. She was right, Naruto did, and didn't give her a chance to object at all. However, Tsuruyoshi blowing snow is really dead set on Naruto. Even in the face of embarrassing situations, it will still be based on Naruto's feelings. I don't know if it has been completely conquered by Naruto's strength, or if it has been more influenced by the Asura buff, but either reason, the result was the same, and Naruto certainly wouldn't care about that. In the end, Kazewa Xiaoyuki still failed to defeat Naruto, and was soon breached by his defense. Under this rainbow ice wall, in this jungle of birds and flowers, Kazika Koyuki, who was wearing a daimyo costume, had a charm bonus, and Naruto had been waiting for this opportunity for a long time, so not long after. In this environment changed by the geothermal generator, a wonderful symphony sounded, slowly spreading into the distance, but unfortunately only Naruto could hear it. Naruto stayed in the land of snow for another 3 days, and he walked around a lot of places with wind flower light snow and Tsuru wing blowing snow. Well, traces were left everywhere. At first, Kaze Xiaoyuki was still very uncomfortable, and gradually got used to Naruto's absurdity. Anyway, this is also something that has been expected. In addition, Naruto also gave Kazahana Koyuki some brief suggestions on the development of the Snow Country. There is no need for Naruto to worry about people's livelihood, and the matter of armament is entrusted to Wolf Tooth Avalanche, which is mainly a matter of science and technology. The Land of Snow has unique chakra armor, rail trains, and now geothermal generators, and it can be said that it is at the forefront of the ninja world in the field of mechanical technology. Naruto asked Kazahana Koyuki to focus on this aspect, increase research efforts, and if the funds are not enough, you can transfer some from the country of waves to fund it. In fact, Naruto didn't have much planning, basically thinking of what to arrange. Laying these foreshadowings may be of great use in the future, or they may not be used at all. After all, in the later stage of the plot, it is still the power to destroy the world and the earth, not these foreign objects. However, Naruto had never worried about infinite Tsukiyomi or Atsuki, and knowing everything, it was really easy for him to deal with them. Even if he followed the steps, he could survive until Boruto, so he thinks more about the long life after hitting the big barrel of wood. The world still has to accelerate its growth, and entertainment facilities are too scarce. As for the unification of the ninja world and the like, at least I don't have that idea yet. So let's go and see. Chapter 065. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Escort the commercial convoy to Koka village in the Land of Frost. Because the number of goods is relatively large, 10 carriages and dozens of people are needed to escort. The journey was relatively long, and in order to avoid accidents, the merchant entrusted Konoha with the task of ninja escort. Naruto returned to Konoha from the Land of Snow, just as Kakashi had already received an escort mission and was explaining the mission to the 7th squad. However, those goods are just ordinary pottery crafts, and the value is not too high, so the merchant just hired 2 shinobi squads, which belong to the sea-level task category. Kakashi glanced at Naruto and said, Naruto, this time we are leaving the village for more than 10 days, so you can no longer use the shadow avatar to carry out the mission. Ah, I understand. Naruto yawned and said, I'm the ontology now, but I'm more interested in which squad other than our 7th class has also taken this task. Because Kakashi is talking about 2 shinobi squads, and since Kakashi has taken over this task, in order to facilitate cooperation, it should also be performed by the same newcomer shinobu together. Is it the 8th class of Sunset Red, or the 10th class of Asma? It's the 8th shift. Kakashi did not hide it, and spoke. Originally, I wanted to find the 10th class with the family secret art to cooperate, but they just completed a sea-level task a few days ago, and they may have encountered more troublesome things, and now they are still adjusting, so they can only let the 8th class cooperate. It doesn't matter. Sasuke interrupted, C-class escort missions, generally there is no combat situation, right? If more than 10 days of time are wasted like this, it is better to just simply give up this task. These days, Sasuke has been improving Chakra's control ability. As the control improves, it is obvious that the strength is different from before. He has already tasted the sweetness and just wants to continue to improve according to this trend, and he is not willing to perform boring tasks that are time-consuming and laborious and cannot brush up on combat experience. Can't say that, Sasuke. Kakashi said helplessly, cultivating together, you need to relax one by one, and working behind closed doors for a long time will only put you in trouble. Take advantage of this opportunity. You can digest the ability you improved some time ago. It is best to do it like instinct, so that you can really improve your strength, otherwise everything is just a castle in the air. Besides, don't you want to know how much money this mission will pay? Kakashi specifically mentioned the mission money. Presumably there should be a relatively generous reward this time. Unfortunately, the 7th class of several people is not very interested in the task money. Sasuke just wanted to improve his strength, but since Kakashi had said that he would precipitate and digest, he could only press down. Naruto, needless to say, the Face Ma group brought him endless money, and now he doesn't care about these things outside his body, he already regards money as a rice field. As for Sakura, after learning that Naruto beside her was the body, she immediately got entangled and didn't listen to what Kakashi was saying. Since she hadn't seen the real Naruto for a few days, and hadn't even looked for her in private, Sakura had long thought badly. although there was a shadow doppelganger accompanying her before. It was a pity that the shadow doppelganger would only perform the task step by step, and disappeared directly after the task was completed. Without too much contact with her at all, and did not say a few words, looking at this group of super cute students, Kakashi suddenly had a headache, and simply didn't say anything, waved his hand. Forget it, you guys hurry home and prepare the necessities for travel, remember to prepare a set of ninja tools, gather at the entrance of the village before 10 o'clock, and disband now. After that, Kakashi slipped away first. Naruto. Sasuke stopped Naruto and said, I want to ask you for help. The sound was so small that if it weren't for Naruto's strong ears, he might not have been able to hear it clearly. Sure enough, Nisuke is still the same twisted Nisukiko. Sakura, then you can go first, we will meet in a while anyway. Naruto gently gave Sakura a hug. Sakura pouted and said a little unhappy, okay then. It was hard to talk to Naruto for a while, and I was disturbed again. What a disappointment. When Sakura left, Naruto spoke, okay, just say anything. That. So what? Sasuke hesitated, just couldn't open his mouth. Naruto couldn't help but roll his eyes. If you don't say anything, I'll leave. Wait. Sasuke hurriedly said, I just want to ask you if you can teach me your shadow avatar technique. Huh? Naruto was suddenly surprised. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Sasuke's reaction wasn't surprising, because he was such an unclean person, but the shadow doppelganger? Naruto wondered, don't tell me you don't even know the shadow doppelganger technique. With Sasuke's family lineage, there will be some common ninjutsu left in the family, like what kind of fire done Phoenix Fairy Fire, fire done how Dragon Fire and so on. They were not learned before the extinction of the clan, therefore, the ninjutsu of a ninja with a little background like the shadow avatar will be, and he has no reason why he won't. I will be an ordinary shadow avatar. But what I want to learn is your kind of shadow avatar. Sasuke gritted his teeth, simply opened his face, and said, I have been paying attention for a long time. Your shadow avatar is different from others. Even if it is attacked, it will not disappear immediately. I want to learn from you. Of course, I won't ask you for nothing, I can pay you to buy it. Naruto understood that what Sasuke wanted to learn was not a shadow doppelganger at all, but his wind doppelganger, in order to avoid accidentally letting the shadow doppelganger disappear and causing the task to go wrong. It was Naruto's wind doppelganger who actually came out to perform the task with the 7th class, but it was just a shadow doppelganger to the outside, since Sasuke had noticed. It meant that Kakashi might have seen it too, and Sakura, who was the smartest and most concerned about him, probably wouldn't have noticed nothing, right? Okay, Naruto didn't mean to hide it, but during the reign of the 3 generations, he didn't want to be too high profile. Now that he was discovered, he also said bluntly, it doesn't matter if money is not money. It's not that I don't want to teach you, but even if I teach you, you can't learn it, because I actually use the wind doppelganger, unless you also have a chakra with wind attributes. Wind doppelganger? Sasuke was slightly confused, and then he couldn't tell whether he was disappointed or jealous. I thought that after mastering climbing trees and treading water during this time, his strength had once again surpassed Naruto, but I didn't expect that the other party could actually cast this kind of shadow avatar with a change in nature. This advanced technique can only be done with a lot of hard work. Naruto shrugged, and suddenly said suspiciously, you are not a person who covets other people's ninjutsu. Honestly, what do you want to do if you want to learn the wind doppelganger? Ordinary shadow doppelgangers can't be replaced. Sasuke was a little unable to open his mouth for a while, and actually blushed rarely. Naruto pondered for a moment, then suddenly widened his eyes and said incredulously, you shouldn't have started acting, right? A plan to revitalize the family, Billion-inch. Chapter 066. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Naruto always said that Sasuke was in a hurry to revitalize the Uchiha clan, but at that time, there were mostly jokes, mainly just to laugh at Sasuke, and did not take it seriously at all. After all, in his opinion, the most important thing for Sasuke at the moment is revenge. Revitalizing the clan would only distract him, and he could have waited until revenge was successful, and with Sasuke's personality, even if he has that heart, I am afraid that it will be difficult to do it because of embarrassment. On top of that, not everyone is like Naruto, who can sharpen a gun before the age of 13. Sasuke was frenzied by Naruto's suspicious gaze, and his red face turned into anger and roared, "Not yet." "Oh." Naruto scoffed, "That's not okay, Sasuke, I'm already one step ahead of you." "What?" Sasuke couldn't help but be startled. Naruto attached to Sasuke's ear and chuckled, "Haven't you found 853 yet? Sakura is already my woman, and if I want to, Ino can soon be willing." "That, you guy." Sasuke suddenly gritted his teeth in anger, damn it. Even in such a thing as a woman, he didn't want to lose to Naruto. Sasuke didn't think about it, and blurted out, "I have already met 3 commoner daughters, and now I will live in my house. I asked you to learn that special shadow avatar, just to leave a shadow avatar at home to study during the mission." Roar. Naruto suddenly showed a bad smile that had succeeded in his scheme. Sasuke also reacted immediately, blushing and roaring angrily, "Bastard Naruto, you actually dare to talk to me, I will kill you." He came directly to Naruto with a teleportation technique and kicked it over. It's a pity that Naruto was already on guard, and it turned into a stake. His body appeared on the treetops not far away, hugging his arm and laughing, "Don't worry, Miss Akiko, I won't say anything about this. I promise you, I will never let others know that you have found 3 good friends, but you still don't know how to revitalize the Uchiha clan, so I want to learn the special shadow avatar and study it slowly." Saying that, he laughed heartily and flashed away, "Bastard." Sasuke was so angry that he almost had a cerebral hemorrhage. Tsundra like him, at the moment, he can't wait to find a way to get into. Originally, all this was done secretly, and no one told it, but as a result, the ghost made a mistake, and Naruto explained it all with a slight provocation. But did that Naruto guy really do it? "You wouldn't be lying to me." Sasuke couldn't help but frown and ponder while being annoyed. The family died early, and since then, Sasuke has been cut off from almost everyone in the village, except for going to the ninja school every day and shopping for necessary daily necessities. He didn't talk to anyone else at all, so in terms of physiological knowledge, it is actually no different from a little white. Because of this, Naruto casually fooled 2 sentences to believe it, thinking of solving the problem about future generations early. After all, it takes a long time to cultivate children. Even if the main thing now is to improve his strength and seek revenge on Uchiha Itachi, he needs to make some preparations. He agreed with what Naruto had said at the beginning. It would be difficult for a female ninja to look at him now. Instead of spending time and effort, it is better to find the daughter of a commoner and drive the civilian bloodline through the strength of her own Uchiha. Anyway, just test it first. It's not a loss for him. So recently, in addition to performing tasks and cultivation, he quietly looked for several civilians. Sasuke is not exactly a fool either, knowing how to pick a good look. Using the money offensive and the title of the Uchiha clan, a few willing ones were indeed found. It's just that he made a difficult time when it came to the last step, and he didn't know how to proceed at all. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. With the character of Nezuko, it is impossible for a woman to take the initiative, let alone find someone to ask. Fortunately, Konoha has a library, and after looking up materials in the library for a long time, I finally have a general understanding, but I haven't had time to practice. Now that he was leaving the village to carry out a mission, Sasuke thought about leaving the shadow doppelganger to study. But when you think about it, the shadow avatar will disappear with a simple attack. When studying the problem of future generations, wouldn't it be gone if you were slightly clipped? Only then did he think of learning from Naruto a special shadow avatar with stronger ability to resist blows. Where did he expect it to be a wind doppelganger, let alone be made by Naruto? Forget it, let's wait until we go back to the village. Big deal, if you have a chance to ask Naruto again on the way. Sasuke couldn't help but sigh. Things have come to this point. For the sake of Uchiha's future, no matter how ashamed and embarrassed he is, he has to endure. Since Naruto is a fellow practitioner, as long as he can teach him, Sasuke is willing to show his face. At this time, he is less rotten. Naruto, who had been gone for a long time, didn't know what Sasuke was thinking, and hurried back home. But it was a pity that Yuyen was not at home. Chakra, who sensed Shien, is not currently in the village, and it seems that he has also gone out on a mission. Helplessly, Naruto could only leave a note at home, simply pack up his salute, and walk towards the village gate. he didn't have much impression of this escort mission, but it was worth looking forward to cooperating with the 8th class. I haven't had much chance to be alone with Hinata before, so I can't develop a relationship this time. At this stage, Hinata is really cute, Shippuden is a real goddess, and the mature and beautiful appearance in the ending period is unbearable. It was also a collapse during the Boruto period, but the style of the young rich is still full of charm. At the gate of Konoha, the guards are Kamizuki Izumo and Gangzi Iron. Don't look at them snoozing, but these two are hidden big guys, after all. Even Pain Ludao was too scared by them to go to the main entrance, and its horror can be imagined. Of course, 4.9 This is just a joke like Ichiraku Atsuki. Naruto greeted them kindly, asked them to get up and pee, mixed their faces by the way, and then walked towards the assembly point outside. At this time, all the members of the 8th class, including the teacher, had already arrived, but only Naruto himself was in the 7th class. Sister Hong, Hinata cute, I'm coming. Naruto rushed over happily and hugged Hinata with open arms. Naruto. Naruto-kun. Hinata called weakly, her small face turning red at a speed visible to the naked eye, and water vapor was faintly visible above her brain. Stop. Sunset Red poked a finger at Naruto's forehead, preventing him from continuing forward. Do you have to knock Hinata unconscious? Shirihong said angrily, we are going to go on a mission in a while, don't make trouble at this time. Chapter 067. You are listening at novelfull.audio. So, Hinata-chan still needs a lot of training, and this problem of fainting at every turn must be fixed. Naruto didn't insist on rushing up to hug Hinata, but instead took the opportunity to hug Hinata, but his mouth was saying something that was not boundary. You bad boy. Sunset Hong was eating tofu in front of the students, and she couldn't help but blush a little, and quickly pushed Naruto away. I'll work on it. Hinata blushed sheepishly and whispered, she also knows that her personality is too weak and she has always wanted to change, but this kind of thing cannot be changed if she wants to, otherwise, she would not have seen Naruto so strong, and always silently longed for it. After being pushed away by Sunset Red, Naruto immediately hugged Hinata and said with a smile, then let me help you work hard. As long as you practice a few more times, it will be fine after getting used to it. You give me enough time. Sunset Red was wary of Naruto, and grabbed him by the back collar and pulled him back. As a result, Naruto lay back again, nestled in Sunset Red's arms, his head resting on her pet, unable to get up. Sunset was red and ashamed at the same time, but also crying and laughing. This little devil head is really determined to take advantage, and if she does not achieve her goal, she will not stop, nor will she stop it. However, this kind of personality is very active in the atmosphere, even if the Sunset Red who was taken advantage of is still not angry with Naruto, but is full of intimacy in his heart. If Naruto got along well with her other disciple, it might change her gloomy personality. Well, you can plan this matter later when you have time. Thinking of Kurama Yakumo, Sunset Hong's heart couldn't help but ache, full of pity for him, unconsciously, and the expression on his face was also a little more sad. Hey, Naruto, you bastard, don't bully Teacher Red and Hinata. Tooth jumped out directly and grinned at Naruto. It's always good that you guy appears. If you dare to destroy the sea-level mission that is hard to obtain, I definitely can't spare you. Woof, woof. Akamaru followed with a croak. Yo, isn't this Chiya? Naruto greeted insincerely. Bastard, it's Akamaru, you idiot. Woo, huh. Of course I know it's Akamaru, and I'm saying hello to you. Naruto tilted his head and said, who would say hello to a dog, you idiot. I'm Tooth, not Chiya, you bastard did it on purpose. Tooth was so angry that he jumped to his feet. Is it to fight? Since ninja school, Ye has loved to compete with Naruto, but no matter whether it was good or bad, it was Naruto who stood out the most every time, which made him extremely unbalanced in his heart. Forget it, Tooth, you can't quarrel with Naruto. Shino pushed his sunglasses and said with a flat face, if you want to say why, you have never won him in words. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly, and he turned around and said angrily, less verbose, at least my strength is much stronger than him. Not necessarily. Shino shook his head, to say why, Naruto is very different now than before. The whole head of the Tooth buzzed, being hit by Shino like this. He didn't even have the heart to think about Naruto. Tooth seriously suspects that Shino is a pig teammate, so he will only pull him back. Okay, let's be quiet. Sunset Red finally recovered from the guilt towards Kurama Yakumo, and hurriedly opened his mouth to play the circle. Shirihong spoke. The main points of this mission have been clearly explained to everyone. This is the first cooperation between us and the 7th class, and both sides are also the first time to perform a sea-level mission, so everyone must get along well. Hong-sensei is right, yeah, don't quarrel with Naruto-kun. Hinata said softly. It was only when facing Naruto that it was difficult for her to finish a sentence. Who do you think I'm for? Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Yo was very aggrieved in his heart. How did he become a troublemaker? Naruto-kun. Hello everyone, Teacher Hong. Sakura ran over with a small backpack on her back. Her eyes lit up when she saw Naruto, and Kizi ran to him and hugged his arm, while also saying hello to the others. Hinata looked at Sakura's movements, especially the hands holding Naruto's arm, and her eyes were full of envy. Sunset Red looked at Hinata next to him, chuckled, and patted Hinata's head. These little guys, all of them are so precocious. However, in the red eyes of the sunset, this is no different from the family, and he does not particularly care about it. Anyway, when they grow up a little more, everything will be different. Let them continue to be childlike. Yo. It's all early, just in time for the personnel to arrive. At this time, Kakashi also came, followed by Sasuke, and a middle-aged man. Kakashi introduced to the group, this is Mr. Shota Hiroki, President of Shota Company, Limited of Frost Country, and the client of our mission this time. Shotai Hauchi greeted everyone present and spoke, my caravan has been prepared and is coming over here, and then before reaching Xiaotsu village, I will trouble you. This is what we should do. Kakashi exchanged courtesies with the other party, then looked at Sunset Red and said, then let's arrange it according to the formation we said before. No problem. Sunset Red nodded. Several students looked over for unknown reasons. Kakashi explained, what we need to escort is a convoy with 10 carriages, and counting the interval between the cars, the whole team will be nearly 5 or 7 80 meters long. There were only 8 of us in total, so we had to take care of different areas separately. Before that, I had already discussed and reached an agreement with Teacher Hong. Hinata has the best detection ability because she has the white eye blood boundary, so she is placed at the front of the convoy to be responsible for tracking and probing the way. Naruto is placed in the second car, and the main task is to protect Hinata, using the shadow avatar to support and deliver messages at any time. After this, the Red Cross roamed between the third and fourth carriages and was responsible for the first half of the convoy. The fifth carriage was Sasuke and the sixth was Shino. Sasuke is a combatant, and Shino uses his bugs to cover the entire convoy, equivalent to a monitor. Then there was Sakura in the position of the seventh car, acting as a logistician and paramedic. After that, Kakashi, in charge of the eighth and ninth carriages, sat in the second half of the convoy. Finally, there are Tooth and Akamaru, using their sense of smell to be alert to whether they are being followed or ambushed. In fact, it would be more appropriate to change the position of Hinata and Nya, but considering Hinata's weak character, she may be more at ease in front, and I am afraid that she will accidentally fall behind because she thinks too much. Kakashi has to take care of the front, but he can't keep an eye on the back at all times. Chapter 068. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Don't be too nervous, Hinata, take it easy. After the convoy set off, Naruto just guarded the second carriage with his shadow avatar, and the main body came directly to the first carriage and drove alongside Hinata. Yes. B. Hinata's body stiffened and he replied with a trembling voice, if Naruto wasn't around, maybe she could still relax. Naruto scratched his head. He was also a little helpless with Hinata's personality, and he had nowhere to show his charm. As soon as he gets a little closer, Hinata can easily faint. You can only keep a distance, but Hinata will also be very nervous. In desperation, Naruto could only turn his gaze elsewhere, look ahead, and said to Hinata, in this case, wouldn't it be better? Yes. Hinata let out a breath, and her body relaxed a lot. After a moment of silence, Hinata said a little depressed, I'm sorry, I don't know why, as soon as Naruto-kun gets closer, I can't help but get nervous. However, I didn't mean to hate Naruto-kun. Of course I understand. Naruto smiled. Not only did I not hate it, but I liked it very much. Then, wouldn't it be better if I became a woman? Naruto suddenly made a seal, and Naruto Uzumaki appeared. Huh? Hinata's eyes widened suddenly, and his brain was a little knotted. What is this situation? Naruto slowly approached Hinata. Hinata was visibly nervous again, though the reaction was much slighter than when facing Naruto's body. At least, as long as Naruto didn't do anything too out of line, I think she wouldn't faint easily. That's good. Naruto Uzumaki chuckled. Maybe we can be good sisters. Naruto-kun, Hinata always felt a little embarrassed like this, but Naruto-kun like this, it's so cute. Call me Naruto-chan. Naruto Uzumaki blinked the eyes of the water spirit, very mischievous, poof. Hinata couldn't help but sneer, and quickly covered his mouth again. Yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to. If you want to laugh, you can laugh, you don't have to hide your heart. Naruto tentatively tapped Hinata's head. Hinata did not resist, but squinted and smiled. Yes. That's it. Naruto Uzumaki smiled and said, Hinata-chan can indeed be very brave. Really? Are you sure? Hinata blushed slightly, with the joy of being recognized. I always knew that Hinata was actually very good. Naruto sighed with emotion. The environment in which people grow up is very important. One side of the water and soil nurtures the other. If you are pampered from an early age, surrounded by sycophants, this person will develop an arrogant character. If he has been performing very well and surrounded by some praise, this person will be confident in everything he does. On the contrary, if you are always criticized and scolded, and everything is clearly arranged by others, this person will easily lack self-confidence and opinion. Hinata listened quietly like a little wife, surprised by Naruto's feelings, and quickly took a seat inside. Sure enough, she was the one who lacked confidence and assertiveness. In the past, at home, everything was arranged by her father, and she only had to do what she was told. If you don't meet your father's expectations, you will be scolded and punished. In the long run, it has also made her more and more autistic, and she has become more introverted with a weak personality. Naruto-chan. Hinata looked at Naruto with anticipation in her eyes and asked, I want to change all this, can you help me? Of course. Naruto smiled and said, then, let's start by speaking loudly. Huh? Hinata doesn't know why, Naruto said, as long as you believe me, do as I say. I know. Hinata certainly believed in Naruto, and she had always been working Naruto's goal. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Not enough. Naruto looked at Hinata seriously and said, louder again. Hinata took a deep breath, firmed his mind, and then raised several tones and shouted, I know. This sound was indeed loud enough, and the coachman on the carriage and the guards following the carriage couldn't help but turn their eyes. Hinata subconsciously shrunk her neck, and after spotting Naruto's encouraging gaze, she immediately stood up again and shouted again, I know, I know, I know. He shouted 3 times in a row. His little face was flushed, but with a hearty smile. Sure enough, listening to Naruto-kun's words was the most correct. Just after shouting a few words, she found that she seemed to really have something different, and even the surprised eyes of those around her no longer cared. Great. Naruto did not hesitate to praise and said, then remember, from now on, no matter who you talk to in the future, your voice must be loud and your breath must be full. Yes. Hinata immediately shouted in response. However, the road has to be taken step by step, and the meal must be eaten in one bite. Naruto didn't continue to stimulate Hinata, which was already the limit for her now. Just wait for her to get used to it for a while, completely accustomed to raising her voice to speak, and then think about the next step. Thank you, Naruto-kun. Hinata had a smile on his face, as if a stone blocked in his heart had been removed, and the whole person was much more relaxed. It's just that Naruto was a little dissatisfied. The volume is not enough again. Thank you, Naruto-kun. Hinata immediately raised her voice. Naruto flicked his double ponytail and said with a wink, please call me, Liemo Zhao, Miss Naruto. Giggle. Hinata immediately giggled in amusement. In the past, when I spoke to Naruto-kun, my face was red, my breathing was short, and I couldn't say a complete sentence. It's incredible that you can talk and laugh now. Naruto-kun is really a very amazing person. Pull. Hinata glanced at Naruto quietly. She knew that her change was not because Naruto used transformation, but because of Naruto's own personality charm. In the past, he had just peeked at Naruto from a distance, and he had already regarded Naruto as a target and was chasing hard. Now after getting close to Naruto, I found that there was a reassuring power in him. It was as if, as long as Naruto was around, Hinata was not afraid of anything. This feeling fascinated her deeply. She couldn't help but think that it would be nice if she could always be by Naruto-kun's side. Chapter 069. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Under Naruto's guidance and encouragement, Hinata became more cheerful day by day, and his speaking tone became more and more open day by day. Even with it, he seems to be more and more confident. Now Naruto didn't need to rely on transfiguration to get close to her. Occasionally getting too close or touching something she shouldn't, she would still blush nervously, but she would no longer faint without moving. Naruto demanded that she be loud no matter who she spoke to, so it wasn't just in front of Naruto. Even if she was in contact with other people, Hinata looked different. Before she knew it, her personality changed a lot. She wore a faint happy smile on her face every day, and this mission was perhaps the happiest day since Hinata was born. There are no burdens, no worries, and it feels like coming out on a spring trip. Sunset Red, who followed closely behind, saw all this in her eyes and occasionally showed her aunt smile, happy that Hinata could meet Naruto. On the contrary, thinking of that disciple Kurama Yakumo who was under house arrest, I felt a pang of distress in my heart, and I felt that I should really bring Naruto to her to know her and enlighten her well. Sunset Red has already decided, when the mission is over, find a time for Naruto to help. There's a situation ahead. As he was marching, Hinata, who was probing the way with his white eyes, suddenly spoke up and said loudly, 1 kilometer ahead, there are 2 groups of ninjas fighting, just on our way. 160 stop it all. Naruto reached out to stop the convoy and motioned to Hinata, check it out. In fact, Naruto had been opening Kagura's hard eyes, and he had already figured out the situation, and now it was just to train Hinata. Yes. Hinata snorted and immediately took a closer look with his eyes. What's wrong? Because the convoy stopped advancing, Sunset Hong immediately came over to inquire. There was a battle ahead, just blocking our way, and now Hinata is observing the situation with his eyes. Naruto explained to her briefly. At this time, Hinata also looked almost the same, and spoke. 2 teams of ninjas, there are more than 20 people on one side, only the leader is more powerful, and the other 3 people over there are all masters. Sunset Hong frowned. Is it a ninja from Tanakuni? More than 20 people surrounded and suppressed 3, the battle should not drag on for too long. Let's wait first, just take advantage of this time to fix it. Now that he has entered the realm of the land of Tanakuni, he has passed through the land of Tanakuni and is the land of frost. Naruto also knew that Tanakuni had now become the territory of Orochimaru, and that Oto Ninja Village was established in Orochimaru. It's hard to say if it's a ninja in Tanakuni. They don't wear ninja braces. Hinata observed again and said, however, it was not those 20 or so people who surrounded and killed 3 people, but those 3 people chased and beat more than 20 people. On the side of the 20-odd people, it seems that they just want to leave and don't want to fight too much, but the other party has been chasing after them. Although the situation was somewhat unexpected, Shirihong still didn't react much, nodding and said, no matter what, we have our tasks. As long as it has nothing to do with us, we don't have to worry so much. Ninjas should be task-oriented, and being nosy can easily drag down their companions and even lead to mission failure. Yes. Hinata, of course, understood this and muttered, but they seem to be coming this way. Don't say uncertain words. Naruto interjected, it seems, maybe, should, probably, these are forbidden sentences. Yes. Hinata also knew that Naruto was helping her correct her personality, and immediately said in a firm tone, those 20 or so people are fighting and retreating, and they are coming towards us. According to the distance, you will meet us in 10 minutes at most. This is trouble. Shirihong frowned. There is a convoy on our side that is difficult to avoid. Once it hits, even if Mingzhi protects his life, it will be affected. The best way is to set up a roadblock in front in advance, hoping that they will take the initiative to detour after seeing it. Otherwise, you can only forcibly intervene. Although it is a bit of a sideshow, but since it is encountered, there is no way, and the Sunset Red is not flustered. Tanakuni is just a small country. No matter how powerful the ninja here is, there is her Shangnin, and Kaka, CDEC, Nishi, there is no need to worry about safety, but this battle is pointless and can easily affect their mission, of course. There is also the possibility that those people are just acting and actually coming at them. Naruto, you pass the news on and ask Kakashi's opinion. Sunset Red gestured towards Naruto. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Good. Naruto split into two shadow doppelgangers to deliver the message. After thinking about it, he said to Shirihong, I'll go over there personally to take a look. If I have the opportunity, I will secretly lead them in other directions, and your side is also ready to fight at any time. Yurihong subconsciously wanted to object. Naruto was just a newcomer. This kind of thing should not be done by him. If someone really wants to explore the way, she should also be allowed to go. Don't worry, Sister Hong, my strength is not weak, and I won't mess around. Naruto smiled and said, after speaking, he didn't wait for Sunset Hong to reply, and immediately flashed away. Naruto-kun, be careful. Hinata showed a hint of concern. Trust him. Sunset Red sighed secretly and patted Hinata on the shoulder. Can't stop it, you can only accept it. Not long after, Kakashi ran over after receiving the news. What about Naruto? Kakashi asked. Shirihong replied, it's already to the front, and he said that he will find a way to lead those people in other directions. Kakashi nodded. Then it's okay, Hinata, watch with your white eyes, and report back whenever you have a situation. Yes. Hinata responded, rolling her eyes and following Naruto's figure. At this time, Naruto also quietly touched the place where the battle took place. As Hinata just said, more than 20 people, led by a ninja who was not weak, retreated in the direction of the convoy while resisting the three masters on the other side. Hansaki, the Wind Demon clan will never allow betrayal. As long as you change your mind, we will still be companions. On the side of the three masters, a man with a large cutting knife in his right hand said to the leader of the 20-odd people on the opposite side while attacking. Naruto could see at a glance that in fact, the three masters had already left their subordinates merciful. Otherwise those people on the other side would not be enough for them to make a single move of ninjutsu. Less kidding. Wind Demon Hanzaki shouted, if you want to throw yourself to the Great Snake Pill, you are completely pushing the Wind Demon clan into the fire pit. That evil man is too dangerous. I took them away just to preserve the bloodline of the Wind Demon clan. The ground spider said in a deep voice, but you all left. Our side is short of manpower, and we can't get the attention of Lord Orochimaru. For the future of the family, everyone must work together. Chapter 070. You are listening at novelfull.audio. From the conversation between the two sides, Naruto quickly understood what was going on. It turned out that they were people of the Wind Demon clan, and some of them wanted to turn to the Great Snake Pill and borrow the power of the Great Snake Pill to strengthen the Wind Demon clan, but this is only a small part of it, including the three chasing masters, F.A. Kiri, Ground Spider, and Kajino. And more people don't believe in the Big Snake Pill. The Big Snake Pill is famous, and they don't really want to help the Wind Demon family. Naruto also remembered at this time, on the side of more than 20 people, the leader was the Wind Demon Hanzaki who led the robbery of Jiraiya in the original book. F.A. Kiri holds a large cut, Ground Spider, can manipulate spiders. Kajino is the most impressive. He is a master of the earth escape technique, and he can perform a forbidden technique that can only be used once in a lifetime. After using that move, he will briefly gain a very powerful power, so powerful that even Ji Lai has to temporarily avoid the edge. However, it only has the power of one blow, and after using it, it will transform, from an ugly toothpicking man to a pink little Shota. Of course, these people are just dragon traps for Naruto, and they don't pay attention to them at all. What he cared most about was the little girl named Wind Demon Sasaki. But unfortunately she wasn't here. Even if you say so, I won't agree. Wind Demon Hanzaki gritted his teeth and said, everyone makes choices according to their own wishes, and they all voluntarily leave with me, so even if I fight for my life, I must protect their safety. Boss Hanzaki. Those who had been dragging their feet one by one were moved. It's a pity that their strength is limited, and they really can't help, otherwise they wouldn't have been chased away by the three of them. Fight with them. Even if our strength is weak, we can't watch Boss Hanzaki alone. That's right, fight with them. Touched by the wind demon Hanzaki, those people's blood boiled one by one. Since Hanzaki could spare his life for them, they could do the same. I have to say that the momentum of more than 20 people bursting out together is still very strong, and after all, they are all people of the same race, and the three of them can't help but hesitate. I'll go with them. In the crowd, a woman came out and said to FHA and the others, except for Boss Hanzaki, the others have no strength, and even if they go with you, it won't help. I'll go with you. In exchange, let everyone go. Kotoheim. Hanzaki's face changed. Kotoheim smiled bitterly and said, I'm sorry Hanzaki, although it's hard to believe that guy from the big snake pill, but this is the only chance for the Wind Demon clan to rise. In fact, I also want to gamble. Among the 20-odd people, except for Hanzaki, Kotoheim had a little combat power. After deliberating for a while, he decided to agree to Kotoheim's proposal and let the others, including Hanzaki, go. Even if you force them, in the end it is useless for them not to cooperate. So in the end, the battle became a bit overwhelming, and the three of them left with Kotoheim, leaving Hanzaki and the others alone. Hanzaki discussed it and decided to stay in Tanakuni and wait for the opportunity, but turned around and did not continue in the direction of the convoy. Naruto did watch a good show, and if you think about it, that Kotoheim seems to have appeared in the original book. When Jiraiya sneaked into the base of Orochimaru with Naruto and Sakura, Kotoheim poisoned Jiraiya with poison, almost causing Jiraiya, one of the three shinobi, to capsize in the gutter. Well, in addition to the wind demon Sasaki, there is one more target. Naruto thought for a moment, leaving a shadow doppelganger to track them down to see if he could find the wind demon Sasam, while his body returned to the convoy to report the situation. It turned out to be just a false alarm. Kakashi was relieved and said, it's better if there wasn't a conflict. Hinata, are you sure everyone has left? Yes. I looked closely with my eyes, and everyone had indeed left. Hinata glanced at Naruto. Naruto finally separated a shadow doppelganger to catch up. She saw it, but she didn't know whether to say it at this time. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Naruto understood what she meant, and said with a smile, I follow those people with the shadow avatar. As long as I am sure that they will not turn back, the shadow avatar will be lifted. This is just an extra insurance. Well done, Naruto. Kakashi praised, you've thought it out and now you look more and more like a full-fledged ninja. So the convoy continued to rush, but there were no more accidents on the way. Naruto also thought that because of his protagonist aura, he would be sorry for the identity of the protagonist if nothing happened on the road. It seems that I really thought too much, and the previous incident was just a coincidence, but it's good to be in a hurry. The shadow avatar has found the temporary base of FHA and the others, leaving the flying thunder god technique there. As for the wind demon Sashime, I haven't encountered it for the time being. Think about it, Sasami and Fakiri are not in the same group. She just wants to save her cousin from Orochimaru. It's a pity that her cousin Fone Molan has long been an experiment for the great snake pill. Hinata-chan, there is a stream not far over there. Do you want to go there together to take a bath? After so many days, you must be sticky and uncomfortable, right? Naruto grinned and leaned over to Hinata's side. The creek was discovered when I went to explore the road before, so Hinata must have seen it too, huh? Hinata suddenly said a little nervously, but, in fact, if Naruto didn't say anything, she planned to wait until everyone had slept and quietly go there to take a bath alone. But now Naruto sent out an invitation. If he agreed, men and women were still very shy, but she didn't know how to refuse, especially to Naruto, and she seemed to have a little expectation in her heart. What a good thing. As a result, before Hinata could answer, he was disturbed by Sunset Red. Sunset Red patted Naruto's head and said angrily, of course, I will accompany Hinata to take a bath. If Sister Home wants to be together, in fact, I have no opinion. Naruto stepped forward with a grin, pulling Sunset Red with one hand and Hinata with the other, and said, "Then let's go, everyone will save time together." Poof, Hinata couldn't help but laugh. She knew that Naruto was being funny again, because this kind of thing could not happen at all, and her heart was naturally no longer nervous. "You little satyr, you really like to hit snakes with sticks." Sunset Red broke away from Naruto's hand and flicked it on his head again. "Don't even think about this kind of thing, you honestly stay here." After that, Sunset Red pulled Hinata towards the stream together, while glaring at Naruto with a threatening look. "If you dare to peek, gouge out your eyeballs." Naruto couldn't help but mutter, "Actually, even if I could transform into Naruto. Why are you so calculating?" Chapter 071. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Of course, Naruto didn't have the idea of peeping, and if he wanted to see it, it would be interesting to wait until he saw it in the future, or even participate in it together. Now that everyone's relationship is not so close, let's endure it first. He left a shadow avatar in the camp, and the body performed the Flying Thunder God technique and came to the temporary base of Wind Demon Fa Cut and others. "Wind Demon Kotoheim, I'm coming." Naruto laughed darkly. This kind of person who could be called by name, but purely marginal, also had an interest in collecting for him, but did not have the idea of slowly attacking. What man? As soon as Naruto approached, he immediately attracted the attention of the other party. Ground spiders like to scatter spiders around and play a role in monitoring anytime, anywhere. Of course, it was Naruto who did not deliberately hide his figure, otherwise those spiders would not be hidden under the perception of Kagura's heart's eyes. Only 957, if it is ninjutsu, it will use chakra. As long as it is chakra, it can be perceived by Kagura's heart's eyes, the temporary base for a few people was just in a barren cave in a barren mountain, and there was not even a bed in it except for some rudimentary utensils. Before Naruto came over, they were discussing going to Orochimaru the next day to see if they could join Orochimaru. "What are you?" Seeing Naruto approaching, several people immediately got up to guard. "I don't have a habit of talking nonsense with little minions." Naruto's shadow doppelganger appeared behind Fakiri and the Earth Spider, sending them to the sky with a spiral pill in one hand, without even giving them a chance to react. "Bastard." Kagino and Kotoheim were immediately furious. Earth Escape Hell Ant Art. Kagino made a few seals and pressed his hands to the ground, with Naruto's feet as the center. A spiral-shaped suction hole appeared in the ground, and like the quicksand technique of Iroh, the entire ground hovered and was continuously sucked down. At the same time, Kotoheim's hair grew wildly, binding Naruto's shadow doppelganger to death, and disappearing into smoke in a bang. On Naruto's own side, it was like a leisurely walk in the flowing soil that was constantly being sucked down. Jumping easily in it, without jumping out directly, and it seemed impossible to suck it in. Damn, where the hell did the guy come from? It's actually so terrifying. Kagino's face is ugly, and he constantly urges chakra, making the underground attraction greater, but no matter how much he increased his speed, it still couldn't affect Naruto. Could it be the great snake pill over there? Kotoheim looked horrified. Such an enemy is simply not something they can cope with. Impossible. Kagino said in a deep voice, "Although I don't want to admit it, Lord Orochimaru doesn't even look at us. He will deliberately send a strong person to deal with us, and he has no reason to do so." While controlling the chakra output, he shouted to Naruto, "What the hell are you? Why shoot at us? What is the purpose?" That's a lot of nonsense. Do you need a reason to deal with a small character like you? If you don't have more powerful means, you can die. Naruto used the teleportation technique to leave the range of the flowing earth, standing behind Kagino and Kotoheim with a bored face. Even, one of his hands was already around Shinji's waist. The latter was stiff and did not dare to move. "So it is." Kagino sighed and stopped the output of the chakra in his hand. What is swept into the ground will not return to its place because he interrupts ninjutsu, and at this time the cave is a mess. The ground is rolled out of shape, and the cave collapses in half. It seems that it is impossible not to resort to the last resort. Kagino silently made a few seals on his hand, and said to Kotoheim with a calm face, "Kotoheim, it seems that the Wind Demon clan can only rely on you. You must live." Ninja Shadow Foam. Kagino's figure is very similar to that of a scorpion with a crimson flow, and he is lying on the ground. As his chakra ran, his back suddenly cracked, like a cicada chrysalis breaking through its cocoon, a petite white figure flew out from inside, and there were 4 blue wings of light like dragonflies behind it. Roar. Is it finally used? Naruto raised an eyebrow. The reason why he didn't send him back to the west directly like a hair-cut and ground spider was to see this forbidden technique. In Naruto's perception, after using this move, Kajino's vitality dropped rapidly, accompanied by Chakra's crazy surge. Gee. Naruto shook his head and sighed, it's a pity that it's such a good-looking man. Read violent novels, go on Faloo Fiction Network. Kajino didn't have time to play tricks with Naruto. He didn't last long with this forbidden technique. A dive quickly came to Naruto's side, and the detective tried to take Konoha away. You can't do anything without my consent. Naruto said lightly, and a chaotic chakra suddenly rose around his body. Spiral parapet. The large spiral pill centered on Naruto and Konoha, swirling chakra like an eggshell to protect the outside of his body. Although Kajino's speed was so fast that it was almost invisible to the naked eye, it was a pity that all movements were clear in Naruto's perception, and in terms of speed, Naruto is obviously even faster. Kajino's hand that grabbed Konoha touched the swirling chakra parapet and was immediately ejected, but in his current state, he was not injured. Seeing this, Kajino couldn't help but be anxious, constantly waving his arm, and a large area of green chakra visible to the naked eye came out of his hand, constantly hitting the spiral parapet, but unfortunately it still couldn't shake the slightest. On chakra, Naruto is the strongest. Kajino. Konoha looked outside the parapet. Kajino, whose face was anxious to save her, and tears blurred her vision. Konoha gritted her teeth, her hair growing wildly, and tied it up to Naruto next to her. Don't be naughty, be nice. Naruto's hand grabbed hard behind her, and the chakra invaded, interfering with Konoha's chakra operation. Konoha's long head, which had not fully grown, immediately retracted again, and the whole person fell weakly into Naruto's arms. Her eyes couldn't help but show despair. The gap was too big. After such a moment, the vitality of the shadow field outside the protective wall was almost 4.7 heads, and there was also despair in his eyes. This sudden disaster wiped out several of them. As a result, not only did he not understand the identity and purpose of the enemy, but he even used the forbidden technique, but he could not even save the last companion. Bang. Finally, Kajino couldn't hold on any longer, and the whole person fell to the ground weakly. Naruto removed the spiral parapet and sighed. This spiral protective wall developed by himself, at least in terms of defensive power, is not worse than the toad stomach wall summoned by Zillai, or even stronger. Naruto stepped forward with his arm around Konoha, turning Kajino, who was lying on the ground, over, carefully examining the other's body. Well, because there is information that says he is Shota, and some say that he is a woman. Naruto just wants to confirm it now.